Well, the Prime Minister today was under pressure for failing to reveal details about The Voice. For weeks, Anthony Albanese has insisted any suggestion that he hasn't released enough information about how The Voice to Parliament would work is false. He's accused the No campaign of misinformation. Indigenous Affairs Minister Linda Burney has also dismissed suggestions that Australians don't have enough detail on how The Voice would work, which policy areas it would apply to, and who would sit on the body.
I am not sure what the opposition is missing. This is a practical and simple proposition. This is about making practical change to the lives of First Nations people in this country, and it is also about uniting this country and recognising 65,000 years of history. There are 10 design principles, and that is the end of my answer.
I urge people to look at the words that are being put forward that make it clear the primacy of the Parliament. Parliament's passed laws, but it's people that make history, and we have an opportunity to advance reconciliation in the last quarter of this year.
Anthony Albanese is well known for only doing interviews with journalists where he expects to get a soft run. And that's what he was anticipating when he agreed to go on the project last night. But he was exposed on the left-leaning television program for being simply unable to answer some very straightforward questions. And the questions shouldn't have tripped him up. Host Hamish McDonald asked Albanese exactly how The Voice would work, how many people would sit on the body, and how these people would be chosen. Have a look.
You seem to be asking people to vote based on trust. So why should we?
Not at all. What the Constitution does is it sets out the principles which are there.
I think, as you've acknowledged, people want to understand this, right? So I'm giving you the opportunity to give that clarity.
Even I still don't really understand a lot of it. Do you get how confusing this is for most people?
Well, people will focus over coming months on this. You'll see a whole lot of complexity and raised and red herrings raised in coming months. But it's a pretty simple proposition, really.
This interaction just a day after Albanese's press conference where he celebrated the Voice legislation passing the Senate, where Albanese said he had faith in Australian people that the referendum would be successful. Radio host Ben Fordham ripped into the Prime Minister this morning for keeping information from the public ahead of the referendum.
Multiple ABC hosts had said that when they raise this issue on ABC radio, they're flooded with text messages from people saying, we want more detail. So it's not just a 2GB thing, it's not an ABC thing, it's not a Channel 10 thing, it's an Australia-wide thing. If we're going to change the Constitution, people want to know why we're doing it and how we're doing it. And when the Prime Minister's asked those straight questions, he's seemingly unable to give straight answers. If you give straight answers, you take the confusion away and you'll help move some people from the fence into the yes camp. At the moment, there are many sitting in the middle and they're being swayed to vote no. It's up to the Prime Minister to change their minds.
And the pressure continued in question time today and yesterday. Linda Burney says The Voice won't give advice on changing the date of Australia Day, but there are suggestions that actually it could do exactly that. Finance Minister Katie Gallagher has also refused to rebuke the referendum working group member Thomas Mayo for his comments that politicians would be punished if they ignored advice from The Voice. The No campaign has released footage of the militant unionist making outrageous remarks.
And I tell you what, we are sick of governments not listening to our voice. We are going to use the rule book of the nation to force them.
There is nothing more powerful than building a First Nations voice, a black institution, a black political force to be reckoned with.
Keep going until we change the system, until we tear down the institutions that harm our people.
But I have listened to Mr Mayo in the past. I have always found him an articulate and passionate advocate for The Voice.
With support for the voice already slipping away, the Prime Minister and his ministers need to carefully rethink their strategy. If they want people to support the voice, they need to clearly be able to answer crucial questions about how it will operate, how much power it will have, and who will sit on the body.